Good morning, guys. It's Monday. And today I wanted to talk about books, namely Turtles All the Way Down from John Green. And you might notice that actually the style of this video is kind of similar to John and Hank Green's YouTube channel, Vlog Brothers, which is no coincidence. I'm actually inspired by them to make this video. But this book right here features a main character, Asa, and her best friend Daisy, which is, by the way, a nice touch because Daisy is the name of the actress who played Rey in the new Star Wars movies, starting from The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens. She's also really into Star Wars fan fiction, which I managed to connect to each other. Anyway, I'd also like to say that I like the book without the paper cover more, without the spirals going down. Sorry, Rodrigo Corral. Now, I've read the rest of John Green's novels, Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, Abundance of Gatherings, Will Grayson, and didn't like them as much because I never felt like I could connect to the character as much as I can in this book. But Asa has OCD, which I think John does too, actually, and I know a couple people who do. Personally, I don't think I have it, but I can relate a lot to the way that she thinks. Namely that she'll say, like, yeah or good, but then she'll write her actual thoughts and what she's been thinking about and stuff like that, and I feel like I'm kind of like that as well. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm also wearing this Pizza John shirt that I got at VidCon Europe this year. And I hear it's coming back this year, which is great. I'm going to be seeing all of the YouTubers again. Despite the featured creators list not being public yet, or not being finalized yet. I'm all over the place today, but I wanted to start, actually, this book. I really like the Newton, or the iguana, on it. The reptile, anyway. But I wanted to talk about this book because it got me thinking about something more, which is that the last couple of years I moved in with my brother. It's a long story, I'll tell it some other video. And I've really been responsible for myself, and I've really been more in charge than I used to be as a kid. Living with my parents, they usually decided when I went to bed, where we lived, stuff like that. But this time I actually have a say in stuff. Starting in high school, I got to choose the first time actually, I got to choose one of 4 talent subjects, which was drawing or art, kind of like shop class techniques, cooking, and you got sport. And I chose drawing, which none of my friends actually did except Peter and Sam. And Sam I never actually talked to, but Peter I still do talk to. And he was kind of my only friend in that class because that's the other Sam guy just didn't give a rat's ass at all. But Peter did, but back to the point of having a choice. So I chose that first, and then the next year I chose high school. The way it works here is that you have 4 paths. You have nature and technology, or nature and technology. Oh yeah, by the way, filming this video, I'm really being bothered by the flash. And that reminds me, I think some old Thai actress was blind or got permanently blinded from the flash of the cameras that she worked around all the time. So I'm going to try to be more careful. Here we go, I found it. So you got nature and technology, you got nature and health, which is one side, so it's nature and, so it's all the scientific stuff like chemistry, biology, physics, yada yada yada. And then you got economy and society, and culture and society. And economy and society is basically math, or like calculus and stuff like that. And the Netherlands is like one universal term, mathematics, which is like calculus and yada yada yada. I don't actually know the ins and outs of that. And then you got culture and society, which is what I eventually ended up choosing. And I was really happy at the time because I could drop math. So I didn't have to worry about having that one grade or that one subject. It was really gonna pull down my progress. Economics would end up being that subject anyway, but at the time I thought I was safe. But what I also noticed is that I was more scared of the choices I would make, and I was more afraid of the future because I realized that I was in charge. It was up to me to get a job. It was up to me to get good grades. It was up to me to get into a college, which I actually ended up doing, and I'm actually studying journalism right now. But it's up to me to get a propedeuse if I want to keep going on a university, which I do. This whole, not spectrum, but this whole list of responsibilities suddenly just befell upon me. At first gradually, but as I aged, it just kept multiplying. And I'm actually enjoying that more. Because aside from the increased freedom that I have, choosing my own bedtime, choosing what I actually want to have for dinner, stuff like that, it's also a lot more exhausting, which is logical. And it's also a lot more scary, because like I said, you're actually responsible for everything that you do. And in my case, it was just a whole dump, it fell upon me like an anvil. Is that the word, anvil? It felt like an anvil at first anyway. I actually wanted to rent out a green screen room, which is exactly what it sounds like, a room with a green screen in it, but it was going to take up to 2 weeks, and I just figured I have to get this video out now because it's actually relevant. I'm actually reading the book right now. And with these responsibilities, I like to find time away from them. I like to go on walks. I like to take my dog out for an insane amount of time. I like to sit in the train because I get to stare at the window and just think about stuff. I like to just sit there without my phone.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Speaking of responsibilities, I have to hand in a dossier in a week, which consists of 9 news items. I'm not going to get into the details of it. And like a little research thing attached to it to show them which sources you use, which sources you've cited, you know, who they are. I tend to leave the house when I have a lot to do, and I don't just go shopping or something. I go to the library, I go to school, which usually has a library. I usually find myself going away from my house because there are too many distractions. There's video games, there's bed, there's an internet, which I'm practically the only user of. There's all these distractions, so I find I have to leave the house to actually be able to do work. And that used to really scare me. But then I figured, this is what adulthood is. And I don't have to be scared about what I'm going to do next year or what my career is going to end up being. Because like John said in this video, life is pretty much an open book and it can go all sorts of ways unexpectedly. And I just need to take it easy. Guys, I'll see you on Wednesday.